Here we go.
What's happening? This is Moprim Shakur, and you're watching Getting the Gig.
Yes, indeed. Moprim Shakur is man, it's tough to describe you because I want to say that you are uh, a lot of things, but right now you are an author of this beautiful book called This Thug's Life. And I'll be honest with you, man, when I first heard it down the pipe, hey, would you like to talk to Moprim Shakur? I said, yeah, man, because I'm from Vallejo and I grew up with Tony,
Oh,
Tony, Tony. And I was like,
okay.
Mosedes? Of course I want to talk to him. And then as I dug deeper, of course, I thought, oh, wait a minute, he's got a book. Oh, it's on now. So the
Oh,
book, let's just get this out of the way. Everybody buy the book. This conversation will talk a lot about the existence of Mopreme in life. You've had a remarkable life, but it is in no way a substitution for buying and digesting and loving this book because, man, you will be blown away by the just
thank
amount
you.
of, yeah, first of all, the amount of, I would say, activism that you were surrounded with, adversity in your life. You lost so many close family members, either to institutionalization or they lost their lives because of COINTELPRO. You've had a remarkable life that includes amazing highs, incredible lows. You are, of course, the brother of Tupac Shakur, but it was you who had the first hit record in the family, a record that many of us know and that many of us, especially me, I love that record. And, I grew up, like I said, in Vallejo. We love Tony, Tony, Tony. I'm a drummer. And so Tony, Tony, Tony was a band, and we always loved them. But also, this show, Getting the Gig, is a spinoff of the Break It Down show. Still, my co-producer on this show is Pete A. Turner. And Pete and I, when we started the Break It Down show years ago, one of our very first guests and a strong catalyst for us getting that show off the ground was Dwayne Wiggins. Um,
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dwayne, man. We love and have so much gratitude for Dwayne because half of our first maybe 25 shows were recorded at his house.
Oh,
So, and I didn't play drums for, man, like 15, 16 years. And when I started playing again, it was because I got called into service by Levi Caesar at Dwayne's house.
wow.
So yeah, that was the start of a re-engagement of an amazing life for me, and I will always be grateful and love Dwayne for it. However, today's show is about Moprim Shakur. We first heard him as Mosedes the Mellow. He is quite a nice fellow. Um, the other remarkable thing about your life is in the midst of all of that adversity that you talk about in the book, it was still a life where you created and surrounded everyone in that life with love and affection. And it's a special kind of love that you create and that you bond over when you have so much adversity in your life. And I hate that it's adversity that makes people interesting, but man, you are interesting. Take it away.
Thank you, my brother. I guess I am a Renaissance man of sorts. Uh, yes, you are correct on all of those counts, and you know, uh, a lot of it was in my childhood, and starting to understand that, trying to understand why my life was the way it was. you know, why is my pops not around? Why is our family like this? And analyzing my life and trying to figure it out as I went.
How did you and how old were you when you first figured out that your life was quite different than the standard existence that we would hear about and see on TV and all of that business?
Well, I was my parents was 17 when I was born. So they didn't have shit, they didn't know shit. Really. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And so the first 5 years of my life I was raised in North Carolina with my aunt Joanna, and I didn't come back until I was 5. And when I came back, my mother let my father take care of me for a period of time. When I went to stay with my father, he was then with Afeni and Tupac. And then we all lived up in Harlem. And so I got to experience his lifestyle, which was separate from my mother's. Now, my mother's side, out there in Queens, New York, shout out to Queens, it was traditional, not Southern Baptist, but Baptist upbringing. We was in the church 2-3 times a week. I was in multiple choirs, multiple usher boards, because we were around my grandmother a lot, and she helped create that stability on that side of the family.
Okay.
But eventually I saw my father's wanted poster in the post office, and that officially let me know, my pop shit was a little extra.
Yeah. So for the uninitiated, you are Mutulu Shakur Jr. Your father was Mutulu Shakur. He was a member of the Black Liberation Army. And you had this moment of actually seeing your father in the post office on a wanted poster.
Yeah, it was kind of like a movie, it was that, and then I would later see his name in newspaper articles. I'm like, oh shit. But at home, when I was with him, I didn't experience a lot of that. What I experienced was a lot of meetings, a lot of passionate conversations, a lot of culture, a lot of love, and but what I did not know as a kid was behind the scenes they were,
Out to get him.
They were revolutionaries, and they were, trying to fight for the betterment of our people, because we see each other as humanitarians first, the human race, all of us. The ones that are doing bad, that's who you got to help. It's kind of simple. And I think at that period in time, my family and other revolutionaries were feeling that something had to be done. Something had to be done. Something had to be done, because they were coming up late 60s, early 70s. The climate of the country was different. The racial climate was different. There was
a lot different.
Yeah, there was a lot of, feeling of desperation. They killed the president, for Pete's sake. And so, I feel like that what they were doing, their endeavors was for the betterment of like-minded people, of positive people, of people who cared about everybody as opposed to just one sector.
Yeah, I feel like, within the civil rights movement, there were, pacifist approaches like Dr. King, and there were people who had enough of this bullshit. And that's really kind of the difference. And really, it wasn't one or the other. It was a spectrum of it.
Right.
It just happened to be that your father had enough and was willing to do something about it, and was surrounding himself with people who were also willing to do something about it. And unfortunately, that gets you put on a list. And it's a list that ends you up in the post office.
Dig that.
How old were you?
I was like 12, 13. And then when I saw him in the newspaper, I was like 14. And
so old enough to know.
Old enough to know. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, there was, a couple times as a kid, I would see a duffel bag full of weapons. And, as a kid, I'm like, I would grow up partially in the South as a country boy. I shot rifles before and shit, but
Sure.
I was thinking that hopefully one of them rifles gonna be for me. But I had never seen these kind of rifles before.
That's a different kind of rifle, son.
It wasn't old Remington. Nah, it was.
Yeah. These weren't varmint guns.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't hearing that from a lot of my friends, and when I would tell them, they would be shocked. So I knew it wasn't the ordinary.
Yeah. Wow. And so your book, This Thug's Life, chronicles everything from your upbringing to your appearance on a hit record. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit here, but I do want to talk about that. To your, and you talk a lot about your relationship with your brother. One thing I want to ask you about that is that, is there something in particular, uh, you have a unique experience in that you and your brother did not have, you know, a long life together. You had a very concentrated, very intense existence. Again, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. But in the midst of that, is there, you know, are there profound things that stick with you today that, you know, that you will always remember, that are very specific about the time that you were able to get together?
What was quite clear was the impact of what our parents had gone through. It it affected him more than me. Being that my mother lived on the other side of town, you know, me, Pac, Faye, and Mutulu lived together for a year or two. After that, it was weekends. So
Okay.
as he grew up, he got to experience different parts of revolutionary activity that I did not.
And a lot more of it seems.
Yeah, because besides, you know, Mutulu being his father, I mean, stepfather, whatever, you know how people do it, but that
Yeah.
Mutulu was his father.
Yeah.
His mother was a prevalent figure in the Black Panther Party.
Mm-hmm.
So he was getting hit with it from all sides. What happened with us is that I got a bit of everything. We lived together for a period. There was a period of absence. There was a period that we reunited. And there was a period, in that period we made history. So, you
Yeah.
know, I appreciate all of the, you know, the time we did have.
Your you know, as you describe it, there were some separations there as you were growing up. Then eventually you how old were you when your father was locked up?
Well, that like I'm saying, that period of absence was when my father was on the run.
Okay.
Primarily, he was on FBI's 10 Most Wanted. So the families just went underground
Mm-hmm.
and blacked out Camo. You dig?
Wow.
And
That is a different kind of existence.
yeah. And I'm sorry, what was the question? Got me thinking of something else.
How old were you when
Oh,
they finally caught up to him?
yeah, I had he was captured in 86.
In 86. Yeah.
I
Wow.
uh I graduated high school in 85.
Mm.
So around that time I had to figure out what I was going to do, try to go to college, try to go, you know, where was I going to go get a job?
Here's an
And then,
interesting twist.
you know, and my pops wasn't around.
Yeah.
I had my mother, but my pops wasn't around. And all I could do is lean on the last things he had told me. You know, he would always call me my little soldier. This is my little soldier. Tap me. This is my little soldier. This is my soldier. So, being that I did not know how to be a soldier, I went into the military to learn how to be a soldier.
Okay.
All politics aside, just
Yeah.
learn the nuts and bolts, what it is to be called a soldier.
A soldier. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so
So
I was like 17.
you 17, you go into the service, and then where were you stationed?
Well, my permanent duty station was Fort Ord, Planet
Okay.
Ord, California, Monterey, California.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Not
in
too
the
far,
aviation.
about 2 hours from here.
Yeah, and I was in the aviation unit.
Wow.
Um, the thing was, when my father got captured, he got captured in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, and then he
So
ended up getting sentenced, and he got
uh
where he started his time was Lompoc, California.
wow. So that was probably about 2 hours from you.
Yeah, so
So suddenly you're 2 hours from your pops, and you guys you visited him.
after all those years,
Mm-hmm.
because he was on the run for like 5 years, and then there was years, so it had been a while. But for the first time in almost a decade, all of us were in the same state.
Wow. So
Faney,
that was
Pac, Mutulu,
at the point where Pac had moved to Marin,
correct.
and you were at Fort Ord, and the pops was in Lompoc.
And, yeah, and then when I got out of Fort, when I ETS, I went to the Bay. I had the option of going back to the East Coast, going back home,
Mm-hmm.
going to the Bay, or going to LA, coming to LA.
Yeah.
But I had a familiarity with the Bay Area, fell in love with the Bay Area, and home of the Black Panthers. I felt like that's where I should be.
Yeah. So you moved to Oakland.
Yep, yes, sir.
All right. We're happy
Lake,
about that.
Lake Merritt.
Okay. So you're in Oakland, Pac is in Marin. You start collaborating?
Well, when I first got to Oakland, we weren't connected yet. My father was the
Okay.
connector. Um,
Ah,
um, but now that he had gotten captured, we could communicate, which was new, we felt good about because we didn't know if he was going to be taken alive. But as soon as I got out, I put myself in the studio.
do me a favor and slow down on that, because that's an important thing. Your pops was a revolutionary.
Yes, sir.
So the uncertainty of that when he's wanted, I mean, naturally there's sort of a predilection among revolutionaries that I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out storming. So the thought as a child of a revolutionary is, they're not taking him alive.
Right. Right. We were very worried. We were very concerned. We had heard that, but you know,
So his
the,
capture was
the
almost, in a way, a relief.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Sad but true. Yeah, he was incarcerated. He been sentenced to 60 years, but we could finally
Wow.
talk to our dad. His life works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Wow. So then you get to Oakland, but you grew up in New York, so you're no stranger to hip hop. You were surrounded by it.
Yeah, at this point, hip hop was a trade.
Mm-hmm.
I had a trade skill. I
Okay.
could I could rap and I could break dance. I could take that anywhere. And
Ah.
after being in the military, I wanted to have some fun. I wanted, you know what I mean? And I got in the studio right away. I got to
Okay.
work right away, and
Where'd you go?
I, I hooked up with um, Eric Baker,
Okay.
who is the brother of Elijah
Elijah Baker's
Baker
brother.
from Tony,
Yeah.
Tony, Tony. Right? And I was working.
Ah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there it is. I was
That
working
was the
with him.
connection, huh?
Exactly. I was working with him on my demos, and we were up there. What's that studio up in Oakland Hills? Joe Caper studio. And while we were working on my demos, the Tonys came in. I met them, and later on they made the offer. Raphael offered me to get on the song, and the rest is history.
Okay. That so this chance meeting at the studio, of course, you're in the studio, so they go, well, what are you working on? And you play something that's compelling enough for them to say, okay, we need to stay in touch.
They're
Maybe
hearing, the
got something.
song I was working on. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
hearing me. I didn't know who it was at first, you know.
Hmm. But they dug it. They dug it enough to say, come join us on this joint we're working on.
Thank God.
And yeah. So was Feel Good Feels Good already done? Except for the rap, or had it been recorded yet, or what was going on with it?
Raphael told me to come to his house, and he had a rough mix.
Okay.
We had a rough mix on it. He said, you know, and I loved it immediately. He said, yeah, man,
It feels good.
see what you could put on this. See if you could do something with this. You know, we were gonna have MC Hammer do it, but if you got it, then you know. I was like, whoa, y'all was gonna like it. So I knew they had big plans for the record.
You bump Hammer.
Hey. Oh, it was just economics. It was just economics. That was way cheaper.
Never mind. No, never mind that. You bumped Hammer. We're staying with that.
Yeah, man. So, you know, God is good, and it's a classic to this day. I still love that record as well.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was cool because you declared yourself, which was a New York hip hop thing. I mean, it's a hip hop thing to do in general anyway, to declare yourself. And then the cool thing about that rhyme, you know, Mosedes the Mellow, quite a nice fellow, met 3T. So you're shouting them out and hit a rhyme a cappella, which is a technical term, but with a little poetic license.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then, as if that wasn't good enough, you flow through to Toni has done it again.
Yes, sir.
And at that point, the revival, you know, they had done it, but we weren't sure they were going to do it again just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a blessing because I actually wrote on 2 songs on that album. A song called "Those Were the Days."
Oh yeah.
On that album, I wrote on that too. So it was, I had to brand myself. I was nobody. I was a nobody trying to be somebody. So that was my shot. I had to brand myself.
Well, the cool thing was, you know, we weren't really drowning in features back then. So as far as we were concerned, it was a big deal. Like, oh, they brought in this rapper. Okay.
Yeah,
you know, everybody wasn't constantly doing that yet.
Yeah, I think it was the first biggest one since Melly Mel and Chaka Khan. Remember that record?
Yeah. I Feel For You.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm proud of that, and you know, we are artists, so we just kept creating.
Yeah.
Because
so now,
when my father reconnected me with the family, you know, I would talk to him when he first got locked up. He said, call your stepmom, call your brother, call your people. They up there in Marin. And I called, and
were you not aware that he was in Marin?
I wasn't aware. Nope.
Okay, so you guys were disconnected for that time period.
Yeah, and then Mutulu told Afeni where I was, and she sent me a card inviting me to come to Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh man. See, this is what I'm talking about. Amidst all of this turmoil and all these things you have to endure, there was just still a family's outpouring of love to each other.
Yeah, and I think that was 89.
Wow.
And yeah, I came and we reunited. That was the first time we reunited after like 8-9 years.
Wow.
And Feels Good was recorded, but it hadn't come out yet.
Okay.
So Pac was like 17, 18, and
he was excited about his big brother. You had news.
And I had some things going on. I got out the military. I got a record coming out. You know, there some things going on. I was in Oakland, living by the lake, and so yeah, Pac
this is exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing you know, Pac is on with digital. The rest
Okay.
is history.
Now, had he did he join Digital Underground before Feels Good came out, or did the record drop first?
uh Pac joined digital soon after. I don't know
Okay.
how
But it
soon.
was right
Uh,
then.
uh, yeah, because you familiar with the Bay. He was still
Yeah.
working a lot with Layla Steinberg,
Hmm.
doing poetry with her, and she was also working with Ray Love and DJ Diz, Pac's first rap group, Strictly Dope,
Yeah. Strictly
and
Dope. Young Ray
yeah,
Love.
yeah, Ray, and it was Layla who knew Atrin, connected him with Atrin, and like, yo, this kid has got something, and Atrin got Pac the audition with Digital.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because it was like I almost feel like his participation in Digital Underground in the beginning was, we don't know what we're going to do with him, but we're going to do something. It's like a baseball team finds a superior athlete, but he's not yet a position player. And it's like, we don't know, but he can swing a bat, so we're putting him somewhere.
and and that was the perfect environment for Pac to be in. Pac was highly creative.
Hmm.
Shaq G, rest in peace, was highly creative, and
Yeah.
the whole Digital Underground crew, Money B, Clee, all them guys, highly
Hmm.
creative, uh, um, and Shaq was the man at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't remember, but Humpty Dance, that's when Pac got with Digital when Humpty Dance was out. So Shaq
Hmm.
was the man.
Yeah.
And but Shaq was a trained artist as well, and Pac was a trained artist as well.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. They had technical proficiencies
Exactly,
because
exactly.
Shock could play the piano, man. He could really play.
Yeah, he studied in college in Tampa, Florida, where he from. He
Hmm.
studied music, and Pac was on stage at the Apollo at 13. So they had some real talent, and it just had to be cultivated. And Shaq
Yeah.
kept giving Pac opportunities. Shaq
He
gave
was on
Pac
stage at the Apollo at age 13 as an actor. Is that right?
yes, he was in a play, Raising in the Sun.
Raisin in the Sun.
Yeah.
So the creative juices that existed with all of these individuals were the right mix, and it was the right place for him. And then with this hit record with Tony, that coincided. So you went from your family, being apart and kind of dark in communications and not seeing them for a period of 9 or so years. And then you get back together and you are suddenly both famous.
On the world stage. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a charmed time in our lives.
amazing.
It was a charmed time in our lives. I knew it, and I knew how fortunate we were. I didn't know why we were finally getting this opportunity, but we decided we just need to work. We just need to work hard, and because from the Bay Area, that we had the game. Every song was a sack. You know what I mean? Every song was a sack. You know what I mean? Every show was a sack. So
Yeah.
we kept grinding. We kept grinding.
Wow. So then you were talking about the early 90s now, and you're both kind of, like you said, man, everything you do is ringing up the register. People are loving it. You guys are at Summer Jam. For
Yep.
Our Bay Area viewers will remember Summer Jam in the early 90s.
Hell yeah. And it
Man.
would be one summer jam, I would be there with the Tonys, and then the next summer jam, Pac will be there with Digital, and we
Hmm.
got to go to each other's performance. It was just a dope time in our lives, man.
Yeah.
I'll never stop saying it.
Yeah. So now in the legacy that you have, you can reflect now as a man with some seasoning. I don't want to call you old, but we're old. And when you look back, you can kind of see those time periods. Uh, what do you think that what do you think the world does not quite get right about what your movement was then, how music was, how because both being at the pinnacle, like you said, you were on the world stage. I think we look back on that period with some fondness, but we don't quite get, to me, we don't quite get the depth of, the messaging that was happening. It was a good party, but you all were also saying something.
Yeah, and it was different because we were pre internet, pre social media,
Yeah.
right? So the amount of marketing and promotion you had to do back then for a music project, for a film was different.
It's
You
a
had to
lot.
really, get out there and beat the street,
Yeah.
and really push. And so that's a little bit different now. Um, because Shock G was like the captain of the ship, we were highly creative, highly creative dudes. And Shock could see the potential everywhere and the creativity. So it was like, man, this is great. You know?
Yeah. Now, your book is called This Thug's Life. And of course, Tupac had the thug life tattooed on it, on his torso. But the group that you had made together was called Thug Life. Tell us about that.
Well, like as you aware, we come from a family of community organizers. And Pac was just doing what came natural to him, trying to organize. His second album, Strictly for My Niggas,
Mhm.
um, we he wanted to create a vehicle to be able to talk to community, talk to his people, our people, and reach them. That vehicle was 50 niggas. He got that tatted on him too. Uh,
Mhm.
50 niggas, 50 represented the states, one good one. In every state, we could accomplish anything. That was the concept.
Hmm.
Uh, that morphed into Thug Life. We lost one of the homies. He was murdered out here in the West Coast, and that affected Pac. Pac had a dream, but it had no. He had a dream about it, literally, Thug Life. He woke up one day talking about this Thug Life shit. Thug Life shit. Okay, okay, but it had no direction. And next thing you know, Pac's getting a tattoo. And I'm like, yo, what's the tattoo? You couldn't get one bigger, you know? And, and then we would talk to my pops, and my pops was being an adult. He was like, Thug Life, what the hell is that? What you mean Thug Life? You see where I'm at? What does that mean? You gonna knock some old lady in the head, take a pocketbook? It got to mean something, brother. It got to mean something.
Hmm.
And then, Pac would proceed to get angry because he didn't feel like explaining it. He just felt it. He's like, Mutulu, well, you write us a code. Then me and Mo was out here working. We out here in the studio. We doing movies. We doing shows. We doing all kind of work. We ain't got time. You sitting in there. You write the code. And then my father became part of it because Pac assigned him to write the thug code. And
Wow.
so it became more than an album. It became a movement. It became, community based. And so my
Yeah.
father, with some brothers, some comrades with him in prison, they try to make a code for the thugs to live by. Thugs being, the people on the street, the poor, disenfranchised, incarcerated, political prisoners, all of on the bottom. You know, um, some rules for that group of people to live by, because a lot of those people live in the underground economy,
Hmm.
and it's a dangerous place, and plain and
Yeah.
simple. But the message resonated worldwide. Some people got the message, some people didn't get the message.
I think
So
so. Yeah.
at this point in my life, I'm trying to explain it again. There's some good, sweet points in it to remember and use for our survival.
It's not often that families' values are documented. So what it sounds to me like is that you had this opportunity and this assignment that Tupac had given your fathers to write it down. You know, all these lessons that we've learned collectively for how to navigate this world. You know, you got to essentially write down, you know, write down the code, like you said, write the Constitution for being a thug. And man, that's pretty remarkable. I
And
mean,
the
I learned a lot from
acronym.
my father, but he didn't write down like, here are the rules for your behavior. You
And
know?
then we had it. We even created the acronym. Pac created the acronym. The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone, because if you don't take care of them babies, they can grow up to
Wow.
be the monsters you fear today. So take care of the babies. So we fleshed it out more, thought it out. But that was one of the projects we worked on the longest. Out of all the Pac's projects, we worked on Thug Life the longest, like 2.5 years.
Wow. What of those values you started to say that, you know, there were some sweet spots in there? What are those sweet spots? What of those values have, you know, now as an OG, what do you retain out of those values most?
Some of some of them, the code still is applicable today. Uh, don't go to work around schools. Don't sell dope around schools. Keep your conflicts away from schools and children and parks and play areas. Simple. Uh, you know,
Seems simple.
take care of
Also
it.
simple to overlook.
There it is, right there. There it is, right there. To look out for each other. We are all we got. We are the ones who understand each other, so we got to look out for each other.
Yeah.
You know, just the rest of them escape me, but
Those are big ones, man. Those are very big ones.
yeah.
What history do you think you would have created or created differently if you and Pocket had more time together?
I wish we could have fine-tuned Thug Life to the
I wish you could
vision
have too now.
that we had fully seen, because and Pac more so than me growing up, at that point in his life, like 17, 18, he was angry. He was angry that his mom's was going through it. All the stuff, she sacrificed for the movement. The movement wasn't taking care of them.
Man.
Pac and my little sister, they was going through it, living in the projects. Faye doing the best she can, trying to hold on. After all she did for the movement, he was pissed off. So we were going to affect the community, but we had to do it in our way. Because besides, that's what happened to a lot of the kids of the revolution. The sacrifices that our parents made, we paid for some of that with their absence.
Sure.
You dig? Either they were killed in the struggle or locked up forever.
Yeah. Or even when they were around, there was such focus around the movement that I'm sure that there were times where you thought, man, I could use a little more of your attention.
Yeah. And we were too young to fully understand the totality of the problem, but the level of commitment was way higher than it is with most people now. There was more of an urgency. We have to do something. We're going to die. We have to do something. They're going to kill us all. And I think they kind of really felt that with the, all the assassinations in that era. That
so many.
We don't really deal with, but from Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, JFK, Fred Hampton, Medgar Evers. You know what I mean? So I could see a sense of, anxiety setting in that we have to do something.
Yeah.
That's why it's an interesting period to reflect on, especially now,
Yeah.
with what's going on now. Yeah, man. I just say the level
Yeah.
of commitment is way high.
It seems like our society just refuses to learn lessons that we should have been learned a long time ago.
That right there is the whole bag.
Yeah.
Human beings evolve too slowly. Human beings evolve too slowly. We haven't evolved out. We still fighting wars. And humans have been
Yeah.
here for
Right.
quite a long time. So we haven't evolved out of that yet. So we got to be aware of it, and those who can should, try to evolve out or past it.
When you wrote this book, what was the focus? Were you focused on telling your story, chronicling this history that you were a part of, or leaving something for the generations after you? What was it really for you?
Well, I knew I had to do my story because my story is the one that's connected to all
You're
these
the through
points.
line. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Mutulu's oldest. So being the oldest, I've experienced a lot more than the rest. I was blessed enough to have some success, and I kind of started, post Pac, and thinking about everything, getting past the trauma and the grief, and just thinking about my life. I'm like, damn, it's a hell of a story. I need to start getting this down for my sake, for my father's sake.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen overnight. I got started some years ago, got my first 80 pages. You know, life be life and in between. Start again, got it fine, started fine tuning it, and then ultimately my wife helped me co-write it. And I wanted to get a book deal as opposed to self-publish because I felt the story needed reach.
Yeah, it needed reach, and you understood that from the record business.
Exactly.
This self-publishing game is one thing, but if you really want to reach people, you need
Exactly.
help.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we had to do the hard work in order to get a book deal. This is my first book. I've been writing music most of my life. This is my first book. So, I wanted
And
to
got a
make
deal off of your first book.
God is good. I
Who
mean,
is the publisher? I didn't happen to notice that.
Kensington.
Okay.
Kensington is the publisher. Yeah, and your party people out there, if you want to go cop it, please go cop it. Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, thisthugslife.com. Go get
Yeah.
it wherever books are sold. I hope you dig it. I think you will.
Well, you should do that. Also, for those of you who, listen to books, it is available on Audible, and it is narrated by the man himself. So you can get it that way too. But
Yep.
as a book collector, go get the book.
Yeah, we got the ebook, we got the audio, but the hardcover has photos in it.
Mm,
That's something else I wanted to be able to do. I got like 24 photos in it. Some never before seen pics of me and my brother, and some family pics, some good ones. So I didn't want to cheat the people.
yeah. What did you learn about you in this process?
uh, the totality of how much shit I done been through.
You've been through some shit, man.
Yeah. But I gotta, I try to stay positive. Stay positive.
I'm glad you could time that as a moment of humor, but you
Yeah,
definitely have been through.
yeah,
And, like the old saying goes, the only way to it is through it.
yeah. You got sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying, but
Yeah.
keep going. I'm still here. Thankfully, I'm still here. But over the years, while we were getting to the end of it, it became more and more prevalent and urgent that we finish the book because I was starting to lose people.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
besides Pac, I didn't lost. It's been 10 years since we lost Faney. Um, I was lucky enough for my father to get out, but then he passed 7 months later.
Mm.
And these are some remarkable people who've done some, heroic things. They were leaders of our community, and we don't get to talk about. We got a unique history, and with that
Yeah,
history
absolutely.
is some amazing things. A
And
historian told
because it
me,
was painted as sinister, it's under celebrated.
right, and a historian told me, Dr. Robin D.G. Kelly. He said your dad is like one of the top 5 most important civil rights leaders in America. I was like, whoa, I didn't even realize that.
Well, that's a heavy
But
thing to hear. Yeah.
yeah, so these are all the reasons why, it's important to, try to preserve our own stories, because I am also in Hollywood. I've been around that game. I know how it is. We are public figures, and so you know, anybody could try to steal our story. But I got to I'm also wanted to make sure we protected it to a certain extent, at least mine. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did that. You mentioned briefly that you've gotten past the trauma, and I want to talk about that, but you also just mentioned that you had your father for 7 months after he was released. How were those 7 months with him?
It was a sweet spot. It was real sweet. Even though when he got out, he was stricken with bone cancer.
Mm.
And we were trying to save him at the same time as reconnected him with the outside. Um, uh, you know, he had spent 37 years in. He was sentenced to 60, did 37.
Wow.
They were supposed to let him out at the 30-year point, but they, did him dirty. But he made it out.
He was too important. They couldn't let him out.
And they set him up to fail. They gave him a stem cell treatment that they didn't do properly, which ended up not working. And so we were still trying to save him once he got out of prison. But at the same time, we were trying to show him some good times. He spoke at UCLA. He went to the Dear Mama TV series premiere with us in Hollywood.
Mhm.
He got to do a few things before he left here.
And you got to see his the
Family.
glory that those yeah
Yeah.
the glory
You
that
know,
existed that you guys kept strong outside.
yeah, he was proud of us because it's me and Pac, them Shakur boys got us on. We took the family to General Market, you know.
Yeah.
Pac was
Well,
now a movie star and we were recording artists. So it was a good time.
yeah. So what conversations between you and your father? I'll ask you the same thing about Pac too, but what conversations between you and your father stick with you to this day?
His urging me to make sure that I'm a stand-up guy. He would tell
Mm.
me, Mutulu, be predictable. You say you're going to do something, you do it. You do it. You know. Um, for some reason, that stuck with me in particular. So
Wow.
that's what I try
I
to
mean,
do.
yeah, we're talking about a guy who the government saw fit to incarcerate. And yet, in his lifetime, he wrote a constitution for his history making young men to live by. And the thing that he emphasized on you was to hold up your integrity.
And love the people.
Man,
Love the people.
remarkable.
He was also an acupuncture doctor.
Huh.
So, uh, you know, his whole thing was caring for the people.
Hmm. Wow. So what about, I'll ask you the same thing about Tupac. What conversations that you had with him stick with you to this day?
Um, um, just certain particular areas. You know, he fought against fear. Anybody that was scared, he would he would make sure that they were not. He would yell them into courage. He was
Mm.
one of the bravest little dudes I know.
He would yell them into courage.
Yeah, and Pac was a truth teller too. He hated a liar. He hated lies. Liar,
Mm.
you better not be intentionally lying to me. You know that was his thing. He was,
Wow.
no, he was very. He tried to be an upright dude as well.
He got that same lesson from your father.
Yeah, yeah.
Once again, a history-making civil rights leader uh, who we saw the government incarcerate for many, many years. Crazy. My last train of thought is you said once again that you had gotten past your, the traumas in your life so that you could document your story. Did you go to therapy? You done that kind of work?
Nah, man. You know,
It seemed like your life been full of therapy.
exactly. I'm a creative, so a lot of times it comes out through your music. But you know,
Yeah.
from we in our communities, we don't usually have uh, a line item in the budget for therapy. It's not typical. Not typical.
So two things
So
about that is that maybe, um, I mean, if there's definitely a need in underserved communities for mental health professionals and therapy and that kind of work. But like you said, it's no line item in the budget for it.
right.
The flip side is that's why there's so much good music.
And I promote, I'm a strong proponent of mental health, especially being a veteran. Mental health is important. If you could get the therapy, seek it out. But if you cannot, that's when I try to push. If you're blessed enough to have friends, talk to them friends. Talk to them friends. It's talk therapy. Because those are the ones that understand your problems the most, and those are the
Yeah.
ones who will give you probably the best advice. At least,
Hmm.
if you can't afford therapy, find a friend that you could talk to. You know, hopefully you got one, and
Wow.
people are more sympathetic and apathetic than you might think. So that's what my
You give
brother
them a
wrote the
chance.
record. Keep your head up. You got to keep your head up. Keep your head up and
Yeah.
your chest out.
Well, our guest today has been Moprim Shakur. Like I said, you made an impact on me in your very first hit record. It was something that, I love to this day. Couldn't wait to play it at a party. Couldn't wait to play it when I had children. It was part of their music education. And
Oh, right
I
on.
had very little idea of how much your telling of your life story was going to affect me, entertain me, and how much profundity there was in your ability to chronicle your life in a way that we could digest it and appreciate it and relate to it. So, man, I'm sending you all kinds of love, and I want everybody to buy the book, This Thug's Life, by our guest today, Moprim Shakur. This has been Getting the Gig. If you like this show, if you like this content, subscribe to the channel. It's a brand new channel. So I got probably
Yeah.
about 11 subscribers, and I need about 1 million more so we could get these stories out, man, because they're important and they're historic.
Shout out to all the party people who are getting the gig. that you will soon have. Much love to my Bay Area brother. I appreciate you. Thank you. Please, y'all, go cop the book if you can. Everywhere they sell books. ThisThugsLife.com, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Man, yeah, man, you need to bring them drums down here. Let's do something, man. It's still.
I do. I will. How about book tours? You doing a book tour? You getting out there and seeing the people and shaking the hands and kissing the babies, or what are you doing?
Dude, we just did that. We just did the East Coast. We did from Georgia all the way up to New York and back. Now we got to get ready to do the other parts of the country. But yeah, I'm still recording too, man.
I'm just gonna tell you, if you come to Oakland and you need somebody to pass out flyers and be boots on the ground and whatever you need, I'm in. The answer is yes.
I'm definitely coming that way.
I know you are. It's Oakland, man.
I cannot not come that way.
That's true.
But forever love for the Bay Area, Old Town. You know what it is to be. Man, this was real good talking to you, my brother, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you too.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you soon, and yeah, let's stay in touch. And man, seriously, if you when you come up here, count me in for whatever you need to do.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we're coming that way.
All right, now.
All right. Peace. Straight ahead.